You ever heard the term, if you see something, say something? Well, we're going to talk about that. And we're going to apply it to two different aspects of your life coming up. But first, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. We talk on this channel about things of physical, mental, and spiritual toughness and fitness. So please click on the top secret icon in the lower right hand corner of your screen. Otherwise, go down below and click subscribe. Don't forget to click that bell so that you're notified every time a new video comes out. And make sure that you can comment, like, or even dislike this video after watching. Become part of this experiment. So if you see something, say something. That typically is used in a public awareness and a public campaign to try to fight against terrorism or active shooter, those types of things. And that's all great. I mean, if you see people of a certain heritage and descent or religion that happen to be buying a lot of fertilizer and fuel oil, well then maybe they're making a big bomb. If they're buying firearms, then maybe you want to alert somebody that maybe they're up to no good, especially if they're acting furtive in the process. If people are enrolling in flight school, but they don't want to learn how to land the plane, they just want to learn how to fly it, that might be an indication that something might be amiss. So if you see something, say something. And this holds true for terrorism as well as active shooters. If you see something on social media that this person is making threats and this person is talking of death and suicide or admiration of former mass murderers like the Virginia Tech shooter or the Columbine shooter or whatever, this is something that you obviously want to alert someone to. Additionally, if it's someone in your family or someone you're friends with or acquainted with, if you know someone who's more sticks to themselves and a loner, but they're also very disgruntled, they're angry, they got a chip on their shoulder, then perhaps maybe they are considering plans, especially if they are into violent video games as well as admire people like Hitler and Stalin and other famous Democrats, as well as the active shooter perpetrators of the past. So these are all things that you want to mention something not only to a parent perhaps of this person, if the person is a minor, but also law enforcement. So if you see something, say something. It doesn't hurt. If the person is legit, if the person is just likes to be alone, if the person has a legitimate gripe but isn't going to do anything about it, well then maybe there's nothing to worry about. So at least you've said something and it can be investigated. I'm all for people minding their own business and living their own lives and being left alone to do whatever they want to do. But the problem is that when these people are planning terrorist attacks and mass shooting events and that type of thing, this is something that you do want to indeed say, hey, there's something going on here, and please look into it before someone really gets hurt. Another way we can see something and say something is human trafficking. Human trafficking is basically modern day slavery. We did not end slavery with the Civil War. Slavery is alive and well throughout the world as well as in the United States. Human trafficking for the sake of slavery as well as sex trade is a terrible scourge on this earth. Women and children are trafficked all over the world for sexual purposes. This is terrible, and it has to be said. But in addition to that, there are people, many people in maybe even your own community, who are being held if not against their will, they are being threatened, or their families are being threatened, if they do not fulfill some kind of indentured servitude type of commitment. So if you see strange activity where people do not want to make eye contact if they are out in public, or they're very rarely out in public, but other members of their household are always out in public, perhaps these are things to mention and consider. And there's one last thing to be a good citizen. If you see something, say something. And that is in everybody else's life. If you know of someone who's being abused, if you have information that can help someone, whether it be he's accused wrongfully, and you have information that can help shed light on the reality of what's really going on, or if you see something that is not proper, say something to that person who's doing that improper activity. This way you can be a good citizen and a good friend. A relatively popular Bible passage that I appreciate greatly and that I try to live my life by, and that although I realize that I don't do so perfectly, we should all strive to do this, which is to seek justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with our God. Well, we can't seek justice if we see something but refuse to say something. So remember, use your observation skills, use your situational awareness. Pay attention to what's around you. Pay attention to the people around you. So that if you see something, you'll be able to say something and make the world a better place. Please comment below, as well as hit the like button or even the dislike button. Let me know what you think.